Social media monopolies have far too much power. Any entity which owns a network that connects us to one another also becomes a gatekeeper to our relationships and news feeds. This is why it is imperative to decentralize social media, so that no one owns the networks that we have become so reliant upon. Most projects to decentralize social media are taking the path of technical decentralization, which involves placing all the network components on the blockchain or a peer-to-peer protocol. This includes identities, the social graph, and users' data. While this is a promising approach and should absolutely be pursued, it does come with a major drawback, in that blockchains and protocols are slow to evolve. And the wider the adoption, the harder it is to change the underlying protocol. This might not be a big issue when decentralizing a mature, well-defined product, like a replica of Twitter. But in evolving markets, rapid iteration is required in order to be competitive. If a new product requires changes to a blockchain, a centralized Web2 platform without those constraints will have a big advantage. We have to accept that most users don't care if the underlying tech is centralized or decentralized. Whoever can innovate faster and offer a better user experience will leverage network effects to capture the market. As a result, technical decentralization might be better suited for replicating mature products than building new ones. Another way to decentralize the social network is at the economic level. Economic decentralization involves many social media applications interoperating with one another, so that they share the network effects while competing on other dimensions. This is complementary to technical decentralization, as individual apps can be centralized or decentralized. The major impediment to economic decentralization has been that social media is a winner-take-all market. If the leader can eventually wall themselves off and capture the entire market, there is no trust to interoperate. So to enable economic decentralization, we must find a way to eliminate the winner-take-all dynamic. Here's how we can do that. Imagine a two-layer social network consisting of an application layer and a platform layer. Applications connect to platforms via APIs, and platforms aggregate multiple applications into a unified interface. Users then select a preferred platform through which they interact with all their applications. Greater network effects emerge as a result of the interplay between the two layers, and no single entity owns the network. These types of two-layer ecosystems exist in other industries. For example, in gaming, the consoles are the platforms and the games are the applications. Another example is operating systems and, well, applications. And what we observe is that these ecosystems encourage interoperability instead of resulting in winner-take-all outcomes. For example, let's say Apple decides to wall off so that the iPhone only runs native Apple applications. Most iPhone users would immediately switch to Android in order to regain access to their preferred apps, and Apple would simply lose market share. This is why we have a thriving open ecosystem in this industry instead of a monopoly. Similarly, if we could achieve a two-layer network in social media, the strategic calculus would change such that everyone, including the market leader, is incentivized to interoperate. One major advantage of economic decentralization is that applications, platforms, and users all interact off-chain, and only the financial flows settle on-chain. This decentralizes the network while allowing individual participants to iterate quickly, as their product development would never be reliant on making changes to the blockchain. In fact, the pace of innovation would be much faster than what centralized Web2 monopolies are capable of. Imagine a world where Microsoft never opened up Windows. Today, it would run a dozen applications instead of millions, and we would all still be using Internet Explorer. This is analogous to where we are with social media. Each monopoly platform has about a dozen native apps, but that could never compete with thousands or potentially millions of applications that an open ecosystem can produce. In this way, economic decentralization offers the best of both worlds between decentralization and rapid innovation. No one owns the network, and an unlimited number of applications and platforms can iterate quickly in an open, competitive market. The Maitri white paper expands on how the two-layer network would operate and how the incentives to participate in this network would be embedded on the blockchain in order to establish the required trust. We invite everyone to join the discussion and welcome all feedback.